Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another episode of Inside DB Rated. This is the dual commentary series where you go ahead and spectate random matches on DB Ladder and just check out the metagames. So this is going to be actually the result of me asking you guys over on the community tab, basically which decks you wanted to see for this series, since I figured this is probably the best medium to showcase either rogue decks or just in general decks I probably wouldn't play myself. So even though that question has only been out for an hour, I would implore you guys to, by the way, keep contributing because I'll be checking that periodically. But even though as of me recording this video right now, that question's only been up for about an hour or so, a lot of you guys actually requested Zefra in particular, which I found to be quite interesting. And I'm happy to oblige because Zefra's a pretty cool rogue deck. And I managed to find a Zefra player here in Elaborus number 031. And he's going to be going up against Jin Kazama on Virtual World. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So it looks like Zefra winning the rock, paper, scissors here and going to be opting to start. So his opener is going to be Zefrashi, Zefra War, Zefra Providence, Cyframe Gamma, and Zefranu. Excuse me. So this hand's really good actually, because you have access to Zefrath, which is always really good. And you have a low scale, which you want to pair with your Zefrath, so you can enable your Zefranu to search. This is a hand trap going second, and this card's always good in Zefra. And then War is a nice kind of backup option. Or interruption, rather. Zefra Providence. Oh, I didn't go over the virtual world hand. I'm sorry. So the hand is Gigi, Lulu, Ash, Lily, and Qinglong. This is also a really good hand. So both players opening up quite strong. Kind of interested to see how this is going to pan out. So Providence is going to search for a copy of Oracle of Zefra. And then Oracle is going to grab his Zefrath. It's kind of tricky because it's like you kind of want to Ash this because stopping access to Zefrath is a big deal. Since like if you're the only other real chance you have to Ash is on the Zefranu itself, but by that point they already have scales, and then if you can't outgrind them, they just basically get that resource loop going every single turn because Zefra can grind really well. So it's like on the one hand you want to stop that from happening, but on the other hand it plays really hard into Gamma. And if they really hard drew this Zefrath, then you're just sad. So it's kind of tough. So he's using to hold it here, and I don't think that's a bad choice. Going to activate Zefrath next. I'm curious as to how this is going to play out. Zefrath going to be activated, and he's going to try and Ash, but this does add from a deck to the extra deck, so it cannot be Ashed here. Yeah, this is a deck that doesn't pop up a whole ton, so I think people might just not have a very strong familiarity with the card sometimes. But yeah, going to send the Zefranu, and then going to scale Zefrashi, then pen summon, looks like just one, and then activating the Zefranu's effect. Gonna use Ash here, which is the other point that I mentioned earlier to Ash. Notably, he didn't summon this out of his hand, not only because obviously it's a hard once per turn, but also by keeping this in hand, if you use War to pop Zefranu, you can enable your field so that the scam is alive. So playing a bit ahead here, I do believe, because this gets its effect when it's popped by your own card effects too, so you can combo with War, get follow-up for next turn, all that good stuff. So I really do like this quite a lot. And then for turn, we're going to see, that's going to be the end of that turn. For turn, we're going to see the Virtual World player draw a copy of Chuche. So that's not going to help combo, but it's still a VW card, so it's fine. Going to activate Qinglong, and I guess it's a misclick there from his opponent. Yeah, it's a misclick. Oh, he's going to activate War right away on the Qinglong. I think that's actually pretty good, because it seems weird to put this in grave, obviously because it floats, but if VW can play, they're going to have Qinglong in grave anyways. And like it's clear that by activating this, there's a VW effect to activate in hand. So yeah, I mean there was gonna eventually be a Qinglong engrave as long as he had like multiple VW names. And this kind of just forces the VW player to expend their normal summon, making the plays a little bit less potent. So I do quite like this. Yeah, just showing the log there. We knew it was War though. And then War is going to pop the Zefranu. And then that's going to allow the Zefranu to get its effect to grab a Providence for next turn. Super great. Like, it just keeps looping. You just get resources all the time. And then we're going to see VW, normal summon Gigi, and then activate Lulu. This is a worthy point to consider Gamma in here, I guess. Would consider doing it. Gonna let it go, though. Alright, so gonna mill Chuchi to add Kowloon. So I think he's going to hold it for Lao Lao then, because he knows that this is probably going to get Lao Lao if he doesn't already have one. So Kowloon is going to place Chuchi face up. Or maybe he's holding it for like Cloud Castle. That could be a thing. Qinglong is going to add Lao Lao to hand. And that's going to send another Chuche. We're going to be used next. That's going to target the Chuche, sending Nian and Qinglong, it looks like. And then Chuche going to level modulate. That's going to turn the Lulu into a 6. Going to then synchro into a Shenshen. And then Chuche is going to try and pop Zefra, it looks like. There is Providence, however. Yeah, that's just going to protect it. And then these will get shuffled back. Oh. Okay, so the wording of Chuche says, you can target a face-up card in the field, semicolon, so that's the activation requirement. Shuffle 2 of your banished virtual world cards with different names from each other into the deck, then destroy that card. So it shuffles first, and then it destroys. So like this, there was no response to the Chuche, so it tries to resolve. These get shuffled back, and then by the time it tries to get popped, the Zefrath does, the Providence is there to save it, because that doesn't activate. It doesn't like start a new chain link. So hopefully they catch that these are supposed to be back in the deck, because that could definitely matter if those stay banished, because that could represent another potential pop if that's the case. But it looks like Lao Lao is going to be gammaed. And that's actually kind of, it's definitely big, because there's no way to make VFD since Chuche is already used earlier on the Lulu. Yeah, so this is pretty solid. Yeah, I guess by doing it on the Lao Lao instead of the Lulu, it forces your opponent to like fully commit, and then they just get punished there. Yeah, okay, good. They caught it. So yeah, those get banished, or those banished get shuffled back in, which is definitely very relevant. So for turn, we're gonna see Zefraxaton be the pickup. This is the one that pops sets, I believe. Yeah, this one. I always confuse this one with Zephyr Thubin, which pops face-ups. But yeah, it's looking pretty strong for Zefra, because this Chuche is off, and now he has to just play through Shenshen, basically. This deck could also play Shenshen, actually, because this deck can play level 9 synchros. But yeah, Zefrath is going to be used. That's going to place a Wendy face-up. Yeah, because Oracle of Zefra can combo with Charge Warrior and Croc to be able to stack any monster, then draw it. So like there was combos with like a Gizmo Kaku, so you can make VFD. There's cool stuff this deck can do. So Zephyr Providence is going to search for Zefrashi, another one. This can enable some synchro plays. That does get banished because Shenshen, so it does kind of suck, but I mean, it's not like the end of the world. Going to then Pendulum Summon 3, including the Zephyr Wendy, the Zefrashi, and the Zefranyu. Zefranyu Chainlink 1, Zefrashi Chainlink 2. That's going to target the Zephyr Wendy. And then the new will add a copy of 9 Pillars. Then going to Synchro away for a Metaphys Horus. Nice. This card's really, really sick. So this card's not only a permanent negation of any face-up card in the field, but it also is like a snatch steal. I mean, you don't get to pick the monster, but it's still really relevant. And there's a combo you can do with a rank 6 called the Vampire Sheridan. I think that's what its name is. I don't remember the full name, but yeah, Sheridan lets you basically overlay any monster with the Horus to make it. It doesn't even have to be level 6, because you can just treat it as 6 as part of its like summoning condition. Then you can like send cards and then reborn cards with that. That's like really crazy. But like this can negate like the Chuche, for example, and that's really nice. So yeah, that's really good. This is one of the craziest level 6 synchros in the game, if you can make it. So it looks like, yeah, the Chuche was targeted for the negation and going to overlay. I mean, this is a 6 anyway, so we might see maybe like a Utopia Beyond into Zeus, perhaps. Like a VW toolbox. Oh, going to go into the, it's called Dampier Vampire Sheridan. That's its full name. Okay. So it says, if you use a monster with a level that is owned by your opponent for the Exceed summon of this card, treat it as level 6. And once per turn, you can attach material from this card, then target one card your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. Then, once per turn, if a monster card is sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard by a card effect, including its own effect, or a monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your opponent's graveyard, you can attach one material from this card and then special one of them to your field defense. So he can put the Shenshen back in his own field. Really, really cool. So yeah, going to use the Sheridan to send away the Shenshen, and then the Sheridan puts the Shenshen back in his own board. That's so cool. That's really big. That's going to prevent this from coming back from the VW player. This can also make Zeus, although there's no materials on it. But you can make a Gaia Charger, right? So battle phase, going to attack for 26. Main phase 2, gonna set 9 pillars. Oh, maybe he's not playing Zeus. I consider doing it. I mean, there's probably space in the extra deck. But we're gonna see Virtual World top deck Qinglong. I mean, he has Qinglong in Grave as well. But just imagine the first VW that gets activated in hand just gets 9 pillared, and then that's gonna be the end of it. Qinglong going to search. That's gonna search Lulu and then get rid of Qinglong from hand. And then activate Lulu targeting the Chuche. Chain 9 pillars. Oh yeah, this does unfortunately get banished, but I mean, it's not a big deal either. And Zefra still triggers, of course. That's going to grab another copy of Oracle. And this is just the end of the game, because these 2 monsters right here are already lethal. Yeah, and that's game 1. So Zefra taking a pretty convincing win against Virtual World. Pretty fascinating. I do like the Sheridan Horus combo. Super sick. And again, I think it's probably worth playing Zeus to combo with that. Like, it's just so much advantage. Like, potentially just generated off of 1 level 6 synchro. And it's pretty easy to access, right? It's all you need is a Zefrashi plus any level 3 Zefra, and you're good to go. But we're now going to move into game 2 here. If you guys are enjoying this commentary, definitely be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more. But Virtual World is going to be going first in game 2. The opener is Desires, Qinglong, Twin Twister, Lulu, and Foolish Goods. Hand is pretty good. We'd like a couple more Virtual World names, but you know, we got Foolish Goods to bin Qinglong, and we have Desires. And then for Zefra, the hand is Zefrashi, Zefra Pilica, Zefra War, and Numeron Calling. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but there is Numeron stuff in here too, apparently. So yeah, this is quite the hand. I mean, this is a brick, and you don't really love drawing the, you know, some of these Zefras. I mean, this is a lower scale, so it's okay. But we'll see how this pans out. No hand traps, notably. Desire is going to be activated first. It's going to banish 10 and then draw Lulu Twin Twister. Ooh, that is not good. Let's see what got banished. Okay, nothing super impactful. They're all pretty much just one-ofs at this point. Totally fine. The draw was bad, though. Activating Qinglong, that's going to allow the Lulu to target it. And then setting Chuche to search Lili. And then, oh, I guess that was a misclick. Going to then use the Lili. That's going to send Qinglong by targeting the Lulu. And then Qinglong will now go ahead and search for Lao. That's going to get rid of Twin Twister. And then Shen's going to come out and normal summon the Lulu. Use Chuche to level modulate. And then go for, making the Shen a 6 to go for Cloud Castle. And Cloud Castle can go ahead and revive the Shen. You can make the first VFD, detach 1, call light, and then use Lao if he wants. Or you can just set Twin and be happy with that. Any main, yep, alright, fair enough. Don't have to go into double VFD if you don't need to. So for turn, we're going to see a copy of Zefraxitombi, or the top deck, excuse me. This is not ideal. I think Zefra can sit in this for a little bit, but the Twin Twister is going to hurt. Going to call True King of All Calamities. That's going to declare Earth. And then we're going to scale Zefrath. That's going to be allowed to go through. Putting the Zefranyu face up in the extra deck. And then we're going to see Zefram Pilica. Probably going to be Twin Twister here at this point. Oh, no. Okay, so going to wait for the end phase. So Zefranyu going to come out. And then, of course, can't activate its effect under VFD. But we're going to see the end phase. Twin Twister pitching goods. That's going to hit the Dead Calling and the Zefrath. And he's going to chain Zefra War to hit the Calamities. Yeah, because if you set this, then you do lose the Twin Twister. And you might have had the read because there was a Twin Twister just pitched off the Qinglong. But yeah, you have to do it now, though, because obviously you won't have 2 of the scales face up. So you have to do it at this point. But yeah, those all go to grave, and now we're going to draw for a turn for Virtual World. So Nian is going to be the pickup. That is not a bad one. We have a live Shen, we have Lao. We can send Qinglong after that, and this probably is VW's game. Normal summon Yan, activate the Lao. That's going to send Chuche, summoning itself, as well as a Lili. Going to synchro into Vermilion. Vermilion effect is going to banish the Lulu. That's going to pop the Zefanu. That can search for a Providence, but I think that we're going to see an OTK. Chuche is going to raise Lily to be a 9, and then overlay for another VFD, and then banish 2 to bring back the Shenshen. Okay, so he didn't have any cards in hand for Qinglong. No, he didn't send the Qinglong either. Oh, wait, is the last one banished off Desires? Oh, okay, okay, it is. Never mind. Okay, so that makes sense why I didn't go for that. Yeah, the last one was banished. And was never able to put Nian to the banished pile to recycle. Yeah. Nian's going to go ahead and recycle. Probably it was a banished Qinglong, I would have to assume. This is going to be 58, so it's not going to be game yet, but it's going to be hard to come back from this one. Gonna attack for the 5,800 points of damage there, and then pass. For time, we're going to see a top deck Dimension Shifter. That's a pretty interesting side. Yeah, that's quite fascinating, but a bit too late here, unfortunately. Shrieking of All Calamity is going to call Earth again. And then he's going to be thinking, going to scale the Zephaxiton, actually. And then summon out the Zefranu, followed by a Providence. It's going to grab War. And then Zephyr War is going to pop the Calamities, as well as the Zephyr. And this should be banished too. And he's going to scale Zefrashi, so maybe buffing another War. Yeah, so I do wonder if he's on 3 War. I wouldn't be surprised. War is a really strong card. For turn, oh gosh, it's a Lao. Okay, yeah, this definitely should be the game, right? You have to clear Zefranu in a manner that doesn't trigger it, otherwise they can get another War. So not even bluffing the War, but like this can search the War, so then that would just be active if this gets popped. So you have to play around that for sure. Going to go for Lao. That's going to send Qinglong, summon itself. Yeah, that should be banished, but gonna summon out Lily as well. Gonna overlay now for a copy of Fan. This sends to grave, I do believe. Or no, banishes rather. Excuse me. So yeah, this is a mini Trish. Okay, so this is the end of the game. All right, there we go. So Virtual World, making calamities multiple turns in a row. That's what it does best, right? Pretty valiant effort from Zefra though. I mean, if they were able to survive one more turn, it could have been done. But that top deck Lala was really good. But game 3, we're gonna see now Zefra go first, and this should be fairly fascinating. So the opening is gonna be Zefranu, excuse me, Zephyr, Oracle of Zefra, Zefrashi, and 9 Pillars. So this is another very strong hand. Access to Zefrath is always good. And you have your play started. This is a pretty good one. Like this is like one of the better negations. It's better than Divine Strike early, just because it allows you to keep using Zefranu. Like this can combo and get you into a war, which is nice. But we're gonna see the opening hand for Virtual World be a Triple Tactics Talent, Lao, Lily, Twin Twister, and Lulu. This hand is actually not great because you're gonna have to normal the Lulu to do anything so far. So top deck might have to be big. Gonna activate Oracle. That's gonna search Zefrath. Gonna scale Zefrath. That's going to put the I almost said Qinglong. Geez, this Zefranu face up to the extra deck. Then going to scale Pilica, and then going to specialize Zefranu and the Zefrashi. Ooh, is he going for the VFT combo himself? So he can chain block here too. So Zefranu chain link 1, Zefrashi chain link 2, and then that's gonna grab Providence. And now this is a tuner. You can go for a Croc, stack Gizmo Kaku, and then go for VFT. Providence, gonna grab a copy of Path. Oh, this is a Floodgate as well. Jeez, this is wild. Yep, going to go for Croc. Ooh, but if you're going to go for the VFD play, this would have to be in the EMZ, so maybe he's not going for it. Alright, so going to go Croc and then chain the Zefra, or Oracle Zefra, excuse me. Oh, going for Planet Pathfinder. Interesting. Okay, so not going for VFD. Going for something different. Very curious as to how this is going to pan out now. Planet Pathfinder, going to activate its effect. That's going to search for a Numeron network. Okay. Oh, you know what? Path has an activation effect where it says, if this card's activated, you shuffle all the monsters you control into the deck except Zephyr's. So that clears your board, so Network is alive. That's pretty sick. Because calling can only be used if you have no monsters, right? So yeah, going to activate Path, that's going to shuffle back the Croc into the deck, or the extra deck, and then the Oracle is going to be sent away to activate the network. And then that's going to enable calling, and then all the gates as well, and then just going to make a copy of Zexal. How about that? And then 9 Pillars also can destroy any Yang Zing card. There are none though, right? So there's like no Zefra in the scale or anything, but pretty interesting. Because this can only summon, only from the hand or extra. So I guess it's not that good against VW. For some reason, I thought it was from like deck or extra deck, but no, it's from hand or extra deck. But I mean, this could still theoretically shut off like to some degree like Drytron follow up. This is like a really interesting floodgate. So this ended up being different from what I expected it to be. I was expecting like VFD, but no, it was just, why make VFD when you can make Utopic Zexal? So Zexal, and then gonna chain Twin Twister, gonna pitch Lala, which was I believe drawn for turn there. Gonna hit Path and 9 Pillar. You can't hit Path, I don't believe, right? Yeah, while this card's in your Pendulum Zone, or while you have a card in your Pendulum Zone, this card cannot be targeted by card effects. So, oh yikes, dude. It destroys itself if a card in your Pendulum Zone is destroyed, but these are both protected by the Providence, so it's not going to be easy. Yeah, I can't target it. Yeah, network and a face down. Okay, fair enough. I mean, if there's any turn to get Zexaled, I guess it's good that it's this hand, because this hand doesn't do anything really that much. Like, okay, not that it doesn't do anything, but it's like just not the optimal hand. Actually, no, I take that back. There were definitely a lot of plays to be had. I don't know what I'm saying. It just doesn't look pretty. But yeah, you're not really ever happy about getting Zexaled here. I do wonder if there's a capacity for Zefra to get or to OTK. Just gonna have to pass. For turn, we're gonna see another Pilica. Interesting, on multiple Pilicas here. This is the one that allows you to reborn from graveyard, but it's also just a low scale, which I guess could matter. Zefrath gonna be used. That's going to send another Zefranu, and then Pendulum Summon 2. Gonna use a Franu effect. That's gonna grab a Providence. Gonna overlay for Constellatomium 7. That can add back, I believe, any monster. Yeah. So that can add back the Pathfinder, which is cool. I wonder if there's anything else that's worth adding back. Gonna use that. Yeah, it's gonna add back Pathfinder, and then he hasn't normal summoned yet. Okay, but just gonna go take the damage in the battle phase. I guess I just skipped over that by mistake. But yeah, Providence gonna search for the Divine Strike, and then just gonna set it and pass. Fair enough. For turn, we're gonna see a top deck Qinglong. All right, so we're gonna see this be shotgunned again, and now Lulu going to be normal summoned, and then just go battle phase and attack over. I guess it's best you can do. And then just gonna pass. So Zefra could take this if they're able to OTK. For turn, we're gonna see a top deck Zefrashi. That's really good. So that's gonna enable a lot of sync replays too. Zefrath gonna be used to put Zefraxiton to the extra deck. Then gonna pen summon the Zefraxiton, the Zephyr Pelica, and the Zefrashi. And that's just gonna be the end of the game. So I think honestly this would have just been enough damage, right? Just go battle phase and that's it. But wow, crazy. Cool to see this deck kind of pop off. I am interested in like the Numeron splash as well. I wonder if he's on like a lot of networks or just on the one to be able to use a Pathfinder. Very curious. You know, opting for that over say like a VFD, which does kind of cost some extra deck space, but I guess that also kind of solves some of Zephyr's problems in that it can brick sometimes. So like if you have just 3 network, then you can go for Zexal and just try and draw into your Zephyr pieces. But yeah, Zephyr, like once it gets going, man, it grinds really, really well. So cool to see this deck still being represented. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon or TCG Player. All the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.